understand with people's fascinations with belittling Tyla and making sure that you talk really bad about her, because she has been such an amazing person. And just because you don't understand her identity doesn't mean that she doesn't want to be or doesn't acknowledge herself as being black. She has said that she is black. The fact that people are literally getting online just to make fun of her and her achievements just because of how she identifies is insane. You know, South Africa does things way different than North America. And if people do things way different from North America, that should be, people should learn from that. People shouldn't just go around telling people, oh, you're this, you're that. You know, people already do this to Latin Americans, and I talk about this, you know, all the time because I do not like it. I do not like when people make fun of Dominicans and how Dominicans identify themselves, attack Tyla just because of how she identifies herself. I think it's ridiculous, but at the same time, you know, I do not think that this is gonna stop her. I think that she's gonna continue going because she keeps proving herself even through the hate. None of her fans are attacking black women. I don't understand why the conversation is geared around black women versus Tyla. You know, this competition is really strange. It doesn't have to be any competition because, again, everybody is from Africa. And I think that this is really sad that this happens within the African diaspora, these wars and these ignorant comments that we have towards one another, and just these ignorant actions towards one another. I think it's petty. I think it doesn't get us nowhere, and we should be supporting one another, but instead we are so offended at Tyla because of how she wanted somebody else to hold her award. People got online and got so mad at Tyla because Tyla asked Haley to hold her award, and other celebrities have done this. Yet people wanted to criticize her because they wanted to make this in diaspora wars. And I really did not like how people went around putting black women versus black women. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these diaspora wars. I think that people are forgetting that when Tyla came into the scene in the USA, people were talking about the uppity African. This hostile nature towards anybody of African descent within diaspora, I'm sick and tired of it. When I see other Latinos, especially the ones born in the USA, get on this bandwagon and talk about how Latinos, they're anti-black because Dominicans, they don't want to identify with the word black. I find that to be so hilarious because you never talk about the pro-African sentiment within Latin America. How many of our people, even to this day, I have people in my country who have gone and died in order to support Africa and helping African people. You know, my people in Guatemala died helping people within the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And my people have died because of going to help people within Africa. My people also love South Africa. Within my own country, we have a huge African population, and we love to connecting ourselves back to Africa. And sometimes people in the USA, they don't understand that. They don't understand Latin America. And because we don't identify with an English word. The word black is an English word. So why would Tyla identify with an English word when she comes from a whole different culture? She comes from South Africa. She doesn't mean to, you know, offend anybody when she says she's colored. She's only going by that because of South Africa. People in Guatemala, they call themselves Garifuna. They might not identify with the word black because, again, that is an English word. And in Latin America, why would we use that word? Why would Dominicans use that word? I don't understand why people criticize Latin Americans or other people within the diaspora and say you have to identify with this word. You have to identify with this word. But then at the same time, if we partake in the culture, or like I have been doing, talking about how Latin Americans and Black Americans are connected, which is something that is very taboo and people do not like it when I talk about that. But whenever I do talk about that, then people say, oh, you're just trying to steal. Oh, you just want to culture appropriate. Oh, you just want to you involve yourself in a culture that's not yours. Blah blah blah. Okay, so then why are you pushing certain things onto other people within the diaspora? If you want Black Americans to be an exclusive thing within the USA, which I am in full support, I think that's great. And I've always respected that, and I've gotten into arguments with other Black people because I don't identify with the word Black, even though I understand that I am part African. And people keep telling me, but phenotypically you are a Black woman, blah blah blah. Even people within my own Latin American community, they don't know that I am Latin American until I speak Spanish. Even when I went to Florida, even my own people didn't believe that I was Guatemalan because they thought that I was Brazilian or Caribbean. So I completely understand, just depending on where you go, people are going to identify you differently. And that is okay. I don't think that people should be offended by Tyla just because of how her own country identifies her race. I think Tyla should actually look into the Latin American audience because we already love Africa so much. We already tie ourselves to Africa so much and everything. And Tyla has gone to Latin America. We love her, like she knows how to dance like Latin Americans. That's what I also love about her. And a lot of us, we already know how to do those dances in Africa because, again, in Latin America, we love our African culture and we have preserved our African culture so much. Like me, I know how to dance punta. I know how to dance a lot of these amazing, beautiful African dances because that is literally core to our identity. So of course, we're naturally going to connect. I believe that regardless, Tyla's gonna continue doing amazing because through the hate, she continues to prove herself. I also believe that she doesn't necessarily have to focus on her music because she already is an icon herself. You guys love to compare her to Rihanna. She doesn't do that. You guys already do that. The industry already made her reenact certain Rihanna scenes, so she already is being tied to that already. And at the same time, she's gorgeous. She's going to be a model. She already is a model. And when she did that Victoria's Secret runway walk, that did it. She became an icon already because of that. And again, I really truly believe that she's gonna continue being a fashion icon because even her red carpet looks are so beautiful and she looks so glamorous. And I just think that people love to hate on her. And again, I think that the hate is gonna catapult her to even more fame, just like the Sydney Sweeney situation. People love to talk about Sydney Sweeney, but you guys continue to just make her even more famous. That's what you guys do when you hate. You make these people famous. I also believe that Tyla's gonna continue doing amazing internationally because before the USA, she was already a big deal in Africa as well as in Europe. And people like to act as if she has to be a huge deal in the USA. She already is a big deal in the USA. That's why you guys are coming online talking about her and talking trash about her, spending your time and energy just to talk about her. Like, think about that. She brings her culture. That's one thing that sets her apart from other girls is the fact that she loves her culture and she is not willing to sacrifice her South African identity for a whole new generic identity here in the USA. And you got to give her props for that. And the fact that you guys hate her so much, yet she continues to push her South African culture onto the huge, celebrity world and the huge stage. I think that's so cool. So, I don't know. People just love to hate on her.